Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Poland Daily History. Today we are discussing the events of World War II and the consequences for the Polish nation. We are in the Ochota district of Warsaw, right in front of the monument dedicated to the soldiers who held up the Germans for 19 days on September 1939. The historian, Dr. Krzysztof Jabłonka, will guide us through this turbulent time in Polish history. Today we're going to discuss about World War II, and where's a better place to start than the beginning of everything in 1939, where Germany attacked Poland and kickstart the war. So can you tell me a little bit about the Polish and German relationships before the war?
Stosunki z Niemcami generalnie były złe.
Relations with Germany generally hadn't been that good prior to the war, although there were two exceptions in the interwar period, so since the regaining of independence on November 11, 1918, up to 1938 and the Munich Agreement.
Monachium I ustalenia z nią związane. Otóż początek był dość dobry.
The relations between the two states were quite good right after Poland became free, as Germany thought their eastern neighbors would at least in some ways be part of the so-called Mittel Europe, so it would be under German influence, especially economically. That is why the relations were a bit better in the beginning, and that is why the German ambassador sent to Warsaw was Harry Kessler, who personally knew Marshal Piłsudski, as they both respected each other.
Polacy to zerwali, słusznie zresztą, I poprosili bardzo życzliwego Polsce Harry Kesslera o opuszczenie Warszawy.
However, Poles broke those good relations, and they were right to do so. They asked the friendly Kessler to leave Warsaw, as they wanted the first countries to acknowledge Poland's freedom to be the states of the victorious Entente. What's more, the Greater Poland Uprising broke out, which was a German-Polish war already after the First World War, so it would be difficult to remain on good terms with the Germans.
Nawiązania stosunków dyplomatycznych po podpisaniu traktatu wersalskiego, co zresztą traktat wersalski zakładał. Niemcy musiały uznać niepodległość Polski I wystosować w związku z tym odpowiednie noty.
The relations between the two countries were improved following the signing of the Versailles Treaty, in which Germany was obliged to consider Poland as a free state and prepare special diplomatic documents confirming this. Almost immediately, there was a boycott of borders proposed in the treaty.
I Francją. O tyle na wschodzie mogli sobie pozwolić na o wiele więcej. No I tutaj przeciągały się powstania śląskie.
As much as Germany couldn't really boycott its western borders due to the occupation of Rhineland and Ruhr, in the east they could be much bolder. All the Silesian uprising and the fact that 1/3 of Silesia with most of the factories and mines was given to Poland only brewed up the conflict even more. The Weimar Republic behaved horribly to Poland. For instance, it started a customs war, so they put up huge embargoes on anything Poland wanted to export to Germany. They also embargoed coal, even though they needed it very much, and despite the fact the fastest route to import coal was from Polish Silesia. Such actions would mean an economical catastrophe for Poland, but the moment the Germans introduced the embargoes, there was a big strike of miners in Scotland and England.
Górników Szkocji I Anglii. No i Anglia zamówiła w Polsce ogromne ilości węgla, no i cały węgiel zamiast do Rzeszy poszedł do Anglii.
Both countries ordered huge amounts of coal from Poland for huge amounts of money, and the economy thrived again. The ports in Gdańsk and Gdynia thrived especially. It was at that time that a main railway line was constructed between Silesia and the Polish coast. Gdynia became one of the biggest Baltic ports. This line was also one of the few ones in Europe which was electrified, so it was not only very fast, but also cheap. It was a hit for the Germans, who were prepared to lose much just so Poland would lose even more.
Żeby wywołać w Polsce jak największy kryzys. I to się nie udało. Od tej pory Niemcy wpadły w kryzys i wtedy już Polska nie za bardzo chciała z Niemcami handlować.
It didn't work, and instead of Poland going into crisis, it was Germany which did. The roles switched, as it was our country which didn't want to trade with our Western neighbors. The economic relations were what mattered the most in the first years following the Versailles Treaty for the two nations. The first warning sign for Poland was the Rapallo Treaty, which was signed during an economic conference when for the first time the diplomatic representatives of the victorious states of Entente met with the officials of the countries which lost.
Zwycięskich państw Entente powojennej spotkali się z pokonanymi państwami, czyli z Rzeszą i Związkiem Sowieckim.
Germany and newly restructured Soviet Union. The conference was taking place in Genoa, but the representatives of Germany and Russia left for a small town of Rapallo, where they signed their own agreement. Firstly, they renounced all financial and territorial claims from after the Great War. Secondly, they formed an alliance-like relations. And thirdly, which was a secret protocol, they agreed to military
Po drugie,
cooperation.
uprzywilejowały się nawzajem te państwa w największej formie, a po trzecie, co już było tajnym protokołem, wpuszczono do państwa sowieckiego wszystkie te działania, którym traktat wersalski, które zabraniał Niemcom na terenie Niemiec.
All the actions that Germany was forbidden to take, it took in Russia. For instance, pilots, marines, and other types of soldiers trained in Russia. Some German officers even joined the Russian army, like Bronisław Kamiński, who at the beginning of the Second World War joined the military of the Third Reich. This deeply concerned Poland, as any improvements in the relations of Germany and Russia meant trouble for the country in between for centuries. There was also a second time the relations bettered. It was in 1934 when Hitler unexpectedly signed a non-aggression pact with Poland and renounced any military plans towards the country.
Kiedy nieoczekiwanie Hitler zawarł z Polską pakt o nieagresji i wyrzekł się wszelkiego działania militarnego, które by zdestabilizowało sytuację. Wtedy
It freed Poland in a sense that it could now conduct a strategy of treating Russia equally to Germany. So the moment Poland struck a deal with Germany, it could do the same with its eastern neighbors. It all worked out in 1938, when Germany suddenly came out with demands towards
z Rosją,
Poland.
jak z Niemcami. I to się udało do 1938 roku, kiedy to Niemcy nagle wystąpiły z żądaniami w stosunku do Polski.
So you were telling me that the Poles and the Germans signed a non-aggression pact in 1934, but from what I understood, the Poles did contact the French beforehand to try to figure out what they would do about Hitler, and I was wondering if you can tell me a little bit about that.
Oczywiście strona polska świetnie sobie zdawała sprawę, ku czemu dąży Hitler i jego partia.
The Polish side knew all too well what Hitler and his party were aiming for. We had experts in politics, military and economy who knew German and read not only the Nazi press, but also the infamous book by Hitler, Mein Kampf.
W momencie, kiedy już się zanosiło na zwycięstwo partii nazistowskiej w Niemczech, Polacy rozpoczęli właściwie równolegle rozmowy.
When there were signs that the NSDAP would win the elections, Poland already sent representatives to Germany for talks. Secret Polish officials came to Hitler's party headquarters, probing if they were interested in changing the relations between the Weimar Republic and Poland from bad to good. At the same time, Polish military officials went to France to ask the French military if they would join them in the so-called prevention war on Germany if Hitler was to get into power.
Z generałem Gamelin na czele, proponując, czy Francuzi byliby zdolni w przypadku dojścia Hitlera dokonać tak zwanej wojny prewencyjnej, czyli zapobiegawczej.
Knowing what Hitler's program was, Poland wanted to attack Germany with France from two sides. The French, occupying Rhineland, would take West Germany and Poles their eastern side. And that's where the issue of Odra and Nysa rivers came up for the first time, which would later become the border of Poland after the Second World War. It's there where Poland was to begin its conquest of Germany, along with Szczecin, although many Poles were already living there.
Po II wojnie światowej. Do tego miejsca wojska polskie łącznie ze Szczecinem miały zająć i okupować ziemię.
Unfortunately, France was looking up to Great Britain too much, and Great Britain was hesitant to answer. Piłsudski quickly realized that talking to the French was to no avail, so he intensified talks with Hitler's party. It led to the signing of the Non-Aggression Pact, where both sides swore, let me emphasize here, to never ever use violence against each other. The matter of Polishness of Gdańsk was also clear then.
Suwerenność nad Gdańskiem nie była od tej pory kwestionowana.
As we have seen today, the Second World War had devastating consequences for Poland. Despite the country's best effort to fend off the German aggressors, Poland was occupied first by the Germans and then the Soviet Union until 1989. That's it for today. I'm your host, Benjamin Lee. I'll see you next time on Poland Daily History.